amount of text. They also have a call to action that encourages user interaction. Phil could use images from his book, advertise websites that sell his book, and more. Then there are text and post ads. These ads could advertise posts or excerpts from Phil's blog or his book, further garnering interest from an interesting audience. He could also use video ads. Phil could use video ads that feature favorable reviews and customer testimonials to advertise his books. Phil could also use lead ads, through which he could collect information from users who are interested in a weekly newsletter or regular updates from his blog. But that wasn't the only thing Phil could do with social media platforms. He could create a brand for himself and drive audience interest to it. Engage with them, create an identity, engage with content, finding content that works for him. Social media platforms also allowed him the opportunity to target audiences based on demographics like their age, location, gender, and much more. And in time, Phil began to see an increase in the number of viewers coming to his social media page and, by extension, his blog. He also saw an increase in the number of people who bought his book, greatly increasing his audience. Here are some things he learned. 1. To set goals that were quantitative, smart, and follow a constant deadline. 2. To understand his audience by engaging and connecting with them. 3. To set up a social media calendar to plan competitions, polls, surveys, videos, and more. 4. Using tools like BuzzSumo, IFTTT, Buffer, and more for lead generation, creating email lists, setting buyer personas, and more. 5. To perform visual storytelling with the help of images and videos.
Okay, so let's have a look at what social media marketing actually means. What is it? Yeah, and we got to put this in the context of the definition of marketing. Yeah, I studied marketing in the very early days in the 80s, and my main sort of guru in marketing was Philip Kotler. And over the years, marketing has sort of developed from traditional marketing to online marketing, but the basic concept has not changed. If you look at the definition of marketing, it's the activity of creating, communicating, delivering and exchanging offerings that have value for customers. Yeah, so you supply, you deliver, you exchange products or services that have a value for your customers. So, two very important aspects here. There is value and there is customer. And that is what we capture in the marketing concept. You put the customer at the core of what you do. Yeah, because when you do that, you automatically will look at what value are we giving to the customer. Yep, so take social media marketing in that context. And the second part of the social media marketing sort of term is the word social media. What is social media? When I explain social media, I'm using the 3 C's. The 3 C's of social media marketing. And they are content, community, and campaigns. Content is the fuel of your social media. Content is the currency of social media. If you have really good content that you can share on the internet, using various multiple social media channels, like Facebook, like YouTube, or like video, or like Instagram, or blogging, you name it. Yeah, people will engage with your content. And then when people start engaging with your content, they may come back for more content that you supply, and they will then become part of your community. So community is a very important aspect of your social media definition. With really good content, you can create communities. And then you can push that process by running campaigns. Yeah, and a campaign makes it relevant for businesses. Because when you run a campaign, you have a goal for your campaign, you have an objective, you have a start date, you have an end date. Yep, and that is what social media marketing is. It's all about running campaigns to develop your communities with really exciting content. And then you put it into the marketing context. You do that with a customer in the core of what you do. Yeah, so if I then take that to a definition of social media marketing, is very basic. It says the use of social media to develop a company's brand, increase website traffic, and boost sales. That is what we call social media marketing. Yeah, the most important aspect here is that you need to have an outcome. You need to have a result which is customer related. And that is where the sales element comes in. You do this to get the customer to do something, and in the end, that is buying your product or your service. Yeah, so social media marketing is not the tactical combination of your social media networks, to reach as many people. There needs to be a goal to it. And when we talk about marketing, it comes down to selling your product or service with a value. Yeah, so that is the kind of the call to action, as it were, that comes out of your social media marketing. So keep that in mind. Everything you do with your social media marketing, in the end, comes down to reaching your goals or achieving your objectives of developing your company's brand, increasing website traffic, or growing your sales. Now, a big benefit that you're getting these days in digital marketing and social media marketing is data, is intelligence, is knowledge. In the early days of marketing, the biggest problem has always been how to measure the success of your marketing campaigns. If I ran adverts in a magazine, how do I measure the effectiveness? If I do a PR campaign and they write about me in the newspaper, how do I measure the effectiveness of that? How can I track that when somebody buys a product, it actually is as a result of the PR campaign that I ran? So in the early pre-internet days, the only way to measure customer engagement, as it were through loyalty cards or credit cards. Yeah, with a loyalty card, you had some basic customer data. Through credit cards, you could track transactions. But it's very difficult to relate that to your marketing. Then the internet emerged. And all of a sudden, I could track traffic to my website. Yeah, I could see how many people visit my website. Are these people that visit my website for the first time? Are they returning visitors? What are the most popular pages that they see? How long do they stay on my website? And are they actually buying my products? Yeah, so that was a major advancement of marketing in the early 2000s. And then when social media emerged, it all of a sudden became possible to measure engagement. How many people are having conversations with us? I could even measure sentiments. Are people positive about my brand? Are they negative about my brands? I could track the effectiveness of my marketing campaigns. I could measure the effectiveness of my advertising campaigns that I ran online. So today's reality is that we can measure everything. We can measure clicks, we can measure transactions, we can measure engagements, we can measure return on investments. Yeah, and we can now even take that a step further through artificial intelligence, that we can actually start making predictions how people may respond to campaigns that we're going to be running. So it's a very important aspect of your your social media marketing. So, as I mentioned earlier, social media is a completely new way for businesses to engage with their customers. Yeah, you can no longer go without it. It's a new channel to market. It is a new channel for engagement with your customers. It is a new channel to learn. It's a new channel to listen, to find out what's happening in the market. So it's there in every aspect of your business. And not only for the marketing department. It's there for the sales department. It's there for logistics. It's there for the customer service department. It's there for the HR department. Using social media for your recruitment is a very important element of social media marketing. Yes, so keep that in mind, that social media marketing is not a fad. It is there, and it's there to stay, and it touches every aspect of your business. Now, to summarize this, there are 3 areas where social media has changed the way businesses operate. First of all, there is the connection. Social media is a new way to connect with your stakeholders. Yeah, and stakeholders in this case can be customers, they can be prospects, influencers, your own employees, using social media for internal. And not only on a local scale, this happens nowadays on a global scale. The internet allows you to sell locally to a global audience if you want to. Yeah, so you can cover the world. You can target specific audiences wherever they are. So the connection aspect, the targeting aspect, yeah, the market where you want to sell your product is opened up through social media, and that is a big benefit for business. The second area where social media has changed businesses fundamentally is in the interaction side. It's not just about connecting with your stakeholders, you can also interact with them. And they can interact with you on their terms, on their preferred platform. And remember, in social media land, the customer is in the driving seat. If you're not interacting with them on their terms, you're going to miss the train. It's not about you don't liking Facebook or LinkedIn. Yeah, as long as your customers are on Facebook, you better be on Facebook, otherwise you're going to miss the boat. Yeah, because if you don't interact with them, they will move on to your competitors who are very likely engaging with them. Yep, so it's the connection aspect, it's the interaction aspect, and then the third part is the customer data aspect. All of this, yeah, what we talked about can be done, and you can track every aspect of your social media marketing at a customer level. And it gives you the key performance indicators like conversion ratios, sales ratios, customer satisfaction ratios, and ultimately return on investment. And there are tools nowadays that let you manage and track all these areas in one conglomerated system. Yeah, HubSpot is, for instance, a tool that you can use for that. And they integrate all your marketing and customer data and campaigns in one system that you can use for that. So now, having learned about these sort of fundamentals of social media marketing, let's now have a look at how do you put together your social media marketing strategy? How do you set it up? How do you develop it? Now, with my over 40 years of experience in marketing, digital marketing and social media, I developed a simple 5-step methodology to set your business or to set up yourself for social media. And it's called FLIRT. Yeah, and FLIRT is an acronym. FLIRT, the first letter, the F, is for focus. Yeah, and in the focus phase, what you do, you look at various things. The first thing you do in developing your social media marketing strategy is look at what is your niche. What market are you targeting? And the more you focus in your market, your targeting, your niche, the easier it will be to reach them. Yeah, so it's very important that you focus on a very particular niche. Once you've identified that niche, you look at your positioning. Why should they buy from you? What is your unique value proposition? Remember the definition of marketing. Yeah, the value for your customer is key in this. And you put it in what we call a positioning statement. You also look at your customers. You create customer personas, where you look at your customers and you kind of map their interests, their pain points, the typical questions that they would ask, so you get a good understanding of your customers. Yeah, so you look at your niche, you look at your positioning, you look at your focus, you look at your customers. Yep, and then you're going to ask yourself, why am I going to use social media? Yeah, am I going to use it to build awareness? Am I going to use it to drive traffic to my website? Am I going to use it to generate sales? Am I going to use it to improve customer service? Am I going to use it to recruit new staff? Am I going to use it to communicate with my employees? Yeah, so lots of reasons why you could use social media, and it's your challenge to identify one or two objectives for your social media. And then a very important aspect of your social media marketing strategy, even your overall digital marketing strategy, what are the keywords that you will be focusing on? In other words, what are the keywords that you want to be recognized for? Google wants to know, Facebook wants to know, LinkedIn wants to know, and it's all about repetition. The more often you use those keywords, the more those social media platforms and Google will associate you with those keywords. When people search for them, they will then show you higher up in the search results. We call this search engine optimization or search engine marketing. Yeah, so keywords is like a whole course in itself, but it's very important part of your social media marketing strategy in the focus phase. So that is the F for focus. Think about your niche, your positioning, who is your customers, why are you on social media, and what are your main keywords. The next is the L for listen. Listen is so important. Yeah, we tend to talk too much. Yeah, where social media can give you fantastic listening opportunities. And when I say listen, I mean read articles online, listen on Facebook and on Twitter, on LinkedIn, listen on Google, yeah, watch videos, listen to podcasts. There's dozens of ways that you can listen online. Because when you listen, you learn, and when you learn, you get better and you develop. So, what does that mean from you? Some practical tips when it comes to listening. First, you need to listen to where your customers hang out. Are your customers on Facebook? Are they on Twitter? Are they on LinkedIn? And later in this session, when we go through the various social media platforms, I'll give you an overview of what type of people are on the various social media platforms. The next thing that you want to know when you listen is who are your top 10 bloggers or influencers in your niche. Do you know your top 10 bloggers? Do you know your top Instagram influencers? Because you want to learn from them, but you may also want to build relation with them, to use them in your marketing outreach. You also want to look at the trends in your niche. Google Trends is a really useful tool that you can check to find out what are the trends in your niche. And you're looking at your competitors and your customers. What are they doing? What are they talking about? Yes, so a very important stage. And if you're doing it properly, you would actually set up a social media listening dashboard where you bring all your listening channels together in one dashboard. And then instead of having to go to all those social media networks or websites, you let them come to you. InnoReader is a very good dashboard, online dashboard, a free dashboard that you can use for this. We're then looking at the I for integration. Yeah, so you know your strategy, you know where your customers are, you know which social media networks you're going to focus on. Then you're going to integrate them. You're going to set up your social media networks. You're going to make sure the branding and the profiles are consistent. You're using your keywords. You're going to create your content calendar. And you're going to set up your blog. Blogging is very important in social media marketing because it is the easiest way to start creating content on your website and to start sharing that content through your social media channels that will then drive people back to your website. Yes, so that is part of the integration stage. And then once you've got that all set up, you're then going to reach out. It's very important that you reach out because if you're not reaching out, then people won't find you, people won't see you. Yeah, the whole essence of social media marketing is that you create as many touch points as possible on the internet for people to find you, yeah, where they start engaging with your content, going back to your website, want to know more about you, want to know more about your content, and you start building a relationship that may then turn into a sale. So reaching out, you're going to start sharing your content, you're going to repurpose your content, so turn your blog post into a video or into a carousel, or turn your video into a podcast or what have you. Yeah, you're going to share other people's content. There's nothing wrong with sharing content from other people. And you're going to run campaigns. Campaigns to push your content in the channels. Yeah, and campaigns nowadays are no longer sort of just posts on social media. It is a combination of organic posts, yeah, where you just share your posts on social media. Could be paid, like pay-per-click advertising, or it could be influencer marketing style, reaching out. Yeah, so very important is the reaching out stage. And then, of course, tracking is the icing on the cake, as it were. When you track, you measure your online reputation, you measure your conversions, you measure your social media activity and engagement, you're measuring your ROI, and you plan for your next quarter. Okay, time to talk about the social media marketing platforms. Let's have a look at some of the most relevant ones out there. Now, but before that, let's make sure that you understand the essence of the social media marketing platforms. How do they work? Very simple. They all work according to the same concept. What you do, you create an account on the social platform, like Facebook, for instance. You fill in your profile. On Facebook, you put in a lot of data about yourself. On Twitter, a little. Yeah, so you fill in your profile, and once your profile is ready, you're going to connect with friends or follow and be followed. Yeah, some platforms, when you send somebody a connection request or a friend request when they accept you're mutually connected, like Facebook and like LinkedIn. Other platforms like Twitter and like Instagram, when you follow somebody, doesn't mean that that person follows you. Yeah, so we're talking about followers and following, as it were. Yep, and then when you've got that, you're going to start sharing updates. And you're going to check your newsfeed where you will see the updates from your friends. Now, as a business, every platform enables you to create a Facebook page or to create a page. Yeah, and what you want to do, you create your page, you put in your company information, you brand it to your company branding guidelines, and then you get people to follow or like your Facebook page or your LinkedIn page. Yep, and then you start sharing updates. And people that liked your page, they may see your company updates in their feeds. And this is what we call organic reach. So you do a post as a business, and then the people that follow you will see your posts on their personal newsfeed. Now, in the early days of social media, this organic reach could be 40 to 50%. Which means that if you have 10,000 followers on Facebook, so 10,000 people liked your Facebook page, 5,000 of those people would see your update on their personal newsfeed, which is fantastic. And that was in the early days for social media. Many brands, they spent lots of marketing, building huge communities, because it was a fantastic free way of reaching out to your market. Nowadays, things have changed. Facebook has been driving this. Yeah, Facebook wants you to advertise on Facebook. All these social media platforms, they have to make money. So they have advertising sort of on their platform, and they want you to use advertising. So over the years, Facebook has lowered organic reach to less than 3%. So again, if you have 10,000 people that liked your Facebook page, fewer than 300 people may see your updates in their feed. And Facebook says, hey, that's the way it is. We offer you a fantastic marketing environment, and we need to make money as well. So, hey, yeah, start advertise on Facebook to reach your entire audience. And businesses now understand that. They now know that social media is pay to play. To reach your audience, it's no longer relying on organic reach. You have to pay to use pay-per-click advertising or PPC. But we're going to talk about that in the next videos. All right, so it's very important that you understand this concept of how social media marketing platforms work. So let's start with the first one, the biggest one, Facebook, with 1.9 billion active users worldwide. Fact is that over the years, the younger generation has left Facebook. Yeah, why have they left Facebook? Because it's not cool anymore. Yeah, and their parents are on it. Yeah, so if you want to reach the young teens, late teens, early 20s, don't go to Facebook. You want to be on social networks like Snapchat or TikTok, if that's available in your market. Now, there's still markets where Facebook is enormous. Yeah, so they are the leading social media network in your market. If that is the case, then of course you have to be on Facebook. But in general, we can say that the audience for Facebook is now a slightly older audience, Generation X or millennials. It's still a really good network to reach these people, particularly when you talk about consumer type products. Now, what does Facebook offer you as a business to use? Facebook has the Facebook page that you can create to reach your audience. Nowadays, Facebook really would like you to use Facebook groups. Facebook groups is a fantastic area in Facebook where you can get really good engagement. And as a business, you can offer a group to your customers as a VIP area or a product knowledge area or a pre-launch area, or just for your customers. Yeah, lots of reasons, lots of areas where you can use a group to reach your customers. Then there's Facebook Messenger, of course, that you can use for your business, where you can set up bots. Yeah, so you can have sort of automated conversations with your customers on Facebook Messenger. And there is Facebook Live. Don't ignore Facebook Live. Facebook loves you to use Facebook Live. The beauty about using the Facebook Live, it gives you sort of buzz and engagement before the event, during the event, and after the event. Yeah, we call this tentpole marketing. You can build up excitement leading up to the event and after the event as well. And then finally, of course, Facebook is betting heavily on the metaverse. Yeah, so it's Mark Zuckerberg's vision that instead of engaging with your friends in the news feed, you engage with them in a virtual world. Now, the verdict is out if this is going to work, but fact is that although we've been talking about virtual and augmented reality for years, it is here now. Yeah, there's more and more apps becoming available on your mobile, on your desktop, that use augmented reality and virtual reality. I can now download IKEA Place, I think it's called, where you just open up the app, you pick a product from the catalog, like a table, and then you can just position that table in your living room. Yeah, and then you can move it, change the color of it or whatever. Yeah, using augmented reality through your camera. Okay, so that is Facebook. Let's look at the next one, Instagram. I love Instagram. Yeah, a lot of users from Facebook have gone to Instagram. Why? Because it is a visual social media platform and it has inherently higher engagement than Facebook. It's easier to reach the audience, not just your friends. Yeah, so lots of cool features in Instagram. One of the coolest features is the Instagram stories. Yep, and people now spend more time on the stories than on the timeline where they see the posts. So Instagram started as a photo sharing app. Very simple. Yeah, you made a photo, you put a filter on top of it, which almost felt like you're a photographer. And then you share it with hashtags. And you saw immediately the likes coming in, and people loved it for its simplicity. And now it has grown to a fully featured social media network that businesses can use to make their brand come to life via photos and via stories. The audience is slightly younger than the Facebook audience, but a more and more mature audience is coming on there as well. And initially it had very much a business to consumer focus, but nowadays it's not just photos that you can share visuals. I can turn a blog post into a carousel of 5 visuals. Yep, and in that way share really good content. So very powerful and very useful for businesses to reach the audience that hangs out on Instagram. All right, so that is Instagram. Let's look at the next one, and that is YouTube. Now, YouTube, of course, is not just for watching video. YouTube is a fantastic social media platform to build an audience of followers. Yeah, it's a great platform to monetize your video as well by enabling advertising to be shown before